My doctor told me last week that my body is shutting down. He said it gently, like you tell a child their goldfish died. But I'm 96 years old. I don't need gentle, I need honest. So here's what I told him. I said, good. Then I still have time to say what I should have said 40 years ago. And that's exactly what I'm about to do, because by the end of this, you'll understand something that took me an entire lifetime to learn. And I pray it doesn't take you that long. I'm not afraid of dying, not anymore. What terrifies me, what keeps me awake at 3 in the morning, staring at a ceiling I've stared at for decades, is the thought that I might leave this world and the people I love will make the same mistakes I made. That's why I'm recording this. Not for me, for you, because you still have what I don't. Time. When I was your age, I thought time was infinite. I really did. Monday would come, and I'd say, I'll start next week. A birthday would pass, and I'd say, there's always next year. My daughter would call, and I'd think, I'll call her back tomorrow. But here's what nobody tells you about tomorrow. It doesn't send a warning when it runs out. One day you just reach into the jar and it's empty. I want to tell you about the life I built, because from the outside it looked perfect. I had a wife who loved me, 3 children who needed me, a job that paid well, a house with a garden my wife planted roses in every spring. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Sounds like a man who had it all figured out. But I didn't. I was performing. Every single day, I was performing the role of a happy man without ever stopping to ask myself if I actually was one. And the worst part, I was so good at the performance that nobody, not even me, noticed it wasn't real. Let me tell you exactly where it went wrong. I was 34 years old, and my daughter, my oldest, she was 7. She came into my study one evening. I was buried in paperwork, deadlines, numbers, things that felt so urgent at the time. She tugged on my sleeve and said, "Daddy, can you come see the moon? It's really big tonight." And I said, without even looking up, "But not now, sweetheart." 3 words. Not now, sweetheart. I've replayed that moment 10,000 times because that wasn't just one evening. That was the template for how I lived the next 30 years of my life. Not now, not now, not now, not now. Always later, always tomorrow. Always after this one last thing. You want to know something that will break your heart? She stopped asking. My little girl, who once thought her father hung the moon, she stopped asking me to come look at it, and I didn't even notice. I was too busy, too important, too focused on things that right now I cannot remember the name of a single one of them. But I remember the moon. I remember her little hand on my sleeve. Isn't that something? Here's a question for you. What are you too busy for right now? Who stopped asking you to show up because you said not now too many times? Sit with that for a second. Really sit with it. My wife, God rest her soul, she tried to warn me. She'd say, "You're here, but you're not here." And I'd get defensive. I'd say, "What do you mean? I come home every night. I pay the bills. I'm right here." But she wasn't talking about my body. She was talking about my presence, my attention, my soul. And she was right. I gave the best of myself to strangers in an office, and I gave my family whatever was left over. The scraps, You think that's just a problem old men had? Look at your phone. Look at how many times you've checked it today while someone who loves you was talking. It's the same disease, different device. I lost my wife 11 years ago. Cancer. It was fast, which they say is a mercy, but I promise you it doesn't feel like one. In her last week, she held my hand and she said something I will carry until my last breath. She said, I just wish I had more of you, not more time, more of me. She had me for 47 years and it still wasn't enough because I was never fully there. I was always half somewhere else, half in my head, half at work, half worrying about money we didn't need. She deserved a husband who was whole, and I gave her fractions. Let me tell you the thing about regret that nobody prepares you for. It's not dramatic, it's not cinematic, it doesn't hit you all at once like a wave. It's more like a dripping faucet. A slow, steady drip that you hear most clearly at 2 in the morning when the house is quiet and there's nobody left to distract you from it. Drip. I should have danced with her more. Drip. I should have said, I love you when I felt it instead of assuming she knew. Drip. I should have put down the newspaper, turned off the television, closed the laptop, and just been there. Really been there. And the cruelest part, you can't go back. That's the deal. You can't go back and look at the moon with your 7-year-old. You can't go back and hold your wife's hand before it's the last time. You can't unlive the years you sleepwalk through. They're gone. They're spent. The receipt is final. Now here's where I need you to listen very carefully, because this is the part that took me 60 years to understand, and I'm going to give it to you in 60 seconds. Are you ready? The things you're chasing, the promotion, the money, the status, the followers, the next big thing, none of it will sit beside your bed when your body starts shutting down. I promise you that. None of it will hold your hand. None of it will say, I'm here, it's okay. You know what will? The people you were too busy for, if you haven't pushed them away already. I watch young people sometimes from my window at the park on the television, and I see the same look in their eyes that I had, that hungry, restless look that says, I need to get somewhere. I need to become something. I need to achieve, achieve, achieve. And I want to grab them by the shoulders and say, you are already somewhere. You are already with someone. Don't miss it. Don't you dare miss it like I did. But they won't listen, because I wouldn't have listened either. At 25, if some old man told me to slow down, I would have smiled politely and thought, that's nice, Grandpa, but I have places to be. And that's the tragedy. Wisdom always arrives too late. It shows up at 96 when you needed it at 34. So let me try something different. Instead of telling you to slow down, let me tell you what fast got me. Fast got me a corner office that someone else sits in now. Fast got me a retirement dinner where people I barely knew shook my hand and said things they didn't mean. Fast got me an empty house and a photo album full of events I was technically at but cannot remember experiencing. Fast got me here, 96 years old, talking to a camera, hoping that a stranger on the internet will hear what my own family got tired of hearing from me. There's a second thing I need to tell you, and this one is harder to say. I wasted years being angry at people who didn't deserve it. I held grudges like they were precious gems. My brother and I didn't speak for 9 years. 9 years. You know what the argument was about? I can't remember. I genuinely cannot remember what was so important that I threw away almost a decade with my own flesh and blood. He died in 2014, and the last thing I said to him wasn't, "I love you." It wasn't, "I forgive you." It was nothing, because I hadn't called. I was going to call next week. There it is again, next week. The most dangerous phrase in any language. Next week is where dreams go to die quietly. If there's someone in your life right now that you're holding a grudge against, call them today, not tomorrow, today. Because I promise you, whatever they did, it will feel very, very small when one of you is gone. The grudge will feel foolish. The silence will feel criminal. And the pride that kept you apart will feel like the most expensive thing you ever owned. Here's my third lesson, and then I'll let you go. You are not promised tomorrow. I know you've heard that before. I know it sounds like something you'd read on a greeting card, but I need you to understand it differently. I need you to understand it the way a 96-year-old man with a body that's shutting down understands it. Tomorrow is not a given, it is a gift. And most people don't unwrap it, they just stack it in the corner with all the other tomorrows they were saving for later, until one day they turn around and there's a mountain of unopened days behind them and no more ahead. Don't do that. Please, don't do that. Tell the people you love that you love them, not in your head, out loud, with your voice, with your eyes looking into theirs. Say it like you mean it, because one day, the last time you say it won't feel like the last time. It'll feel like a Tuesday, and then it'll be over. Put down whatever you're holding that's keeping your hands too full to reach for the people next to you. The work will wait. The emails will wait. The world will keep spinning whether you answer that notification or not. But the people you love, they won't wait forever. Take it from a man who learned that the hard way. My body is tired now. My hands shake when I hold a cup. My eyes don't work the way they used to. But my memory is sharp enough to torture me with every moment I wasted, every person I neglected, every not now I said when I should have said yes right now, always. I'm 96, and if I could go back and change one thing, it wouldn't be my career, it wouldn't be my bank account, it wouldn't be any of the things the world told me to care about. I'd go back to that evening in 1964. I'd put down my pen, I'd take my daughter's hand, and I'd go look at the moon. That's my final message to you. Whatever your moon is, whatever your little girl tugging at your sleeve is, go right now before it's too late. Because if there's one thing I've learned in 96 years, it's this. It's always later than you think.